All right, welcome to another episode of the Dish and Swish podcast. I'm Amadeus Peterson here with Trevor Trost, and we're to episode 3.
Episode 3, man.
Made it a long way.
A lot of listeners, a lot of viewers, you know.
I know. We're kind of a big deal, right?
We are.
No, just having fun. We have some fun stuff prepared for this week. Some interesting stories, but I think the biggest deal going on right now is that we have a giveaway that's going to be happening on our Instagram.
Yeah.
We got some pretty cool stuff, so follow us at Dish and Swish on Instagram. You can follow us to hopefully get some
we got
cool gear.
we got a jazz giveaway coming up. We got a signed photo.
Mm-hmm.
We got a Nike backpack.
Yep.
And
little hat.
So we got some good stuff. Keep an eye on our Instagram. We're gonna have some photos of the stuff today, or not today, this weekend, and hopefully we can get the stuff out there, get it shared, and get someone with some new jazz gear.
I'm kind of jealous of him, to be honest.
Me too. I saw that hat and I told my wife I wanted to keep it instead, but she said no.
It's all right. But yeah, I guess let's get into the big stories this week. So what are we looking at this week?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about last week that, the Team USA with LeBron thing happened and they lost. But LeBron wanting to choose his own co-stars for the next Olympics.
Yeah, who did he go for?
So based on the reports, LeBron contacted Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, who else am I missing? Draymond Green?
D-Book,
Draymond Green.
I can't forget about Draymond Green.
Yeah.
That's his guy.
Yeah, so Anthony Davis, Draymond Green. Man, they got a little squad. He's bringing out the Avengers, is what I read for the Olympics.
I guess they didn't like losing in FIBA.
Yeah, I guess not.
But I guess what would you like to see as like a starting lineup for Team USA? What's kind of ideal?
Oh, I'll give you a starting lineup out here.
Let's hear it.
At the greatest shooter ever, Steph Curry.
Okay.
Easy. At the 2, you could go a lot of ways with this. Where do you want Bron to play, at the 3?
I think you play LeBron at the 3 and you play D-Book at the 2.
Yeah. Or Tatum.
You could play Tatum at the 2.
You could play Tatum at the 2.
And
you got to throw Draymond in there.
Or put KD at the 4.
Yeah, it's either KD at the 4 or Draymond, depending on if you want defense or more offense.
Yeah,
it's always good to have a guy like Draymond out there who will defend and doesn't need the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Well, there was an interesting tweet from Kyle Kuzma.
Oh yeah, that was interesting. I think Kyle Kuzma was saying like Team USA needs a player who's just going to defend, doesn't need the ball, and can just go to a corner and shoot. And then D-Book responded to it saying, I'll do it, which was kind of cool to see from an NBA star willing to, play a role on a team.
It's pretty rare. Do you see a perennial superstar?
Yeah, I mean, he's nice.
Yeah, it's willing to go sit in the corner.
Yeah.
Put me out in the corner.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll sign Trost to the USA team.
Put me out in the corner. I'll hit a couple. I don't know.
LeBron, if you're hearing this, Trevor Trost make a nice addition.
Hey,
to
my
Team
career
USA.
was 41% from 3. So.
Hey.
What
you
can I say?
You want some shooting, some defense
I don't know.
in the interior?
I don't know if I was a corner shooter though. So.
No, that's fun.
But so we have some other news that released this week. The new star resting rule for the NBA released.
Mm-hmm.
And you know a little bit more about that than I do. So what update can you give us there?
Yeah, so I guess they are trying. I mean, they've seen. I think you could probably call it the Kawhi Leonard rule.
The Clippers rule.
Yeah, the Clippers rule. You see lots of players who are resting, especially on for example back-to-backs or some players just resting because load management. And so I guess this rule is to get players to the stars to play in the games. So I guess they're classifying any player who has been an all-star or on an all-NBA team in the last 3 years qualifies for this rule.
Interesting.
And so what that means is that these players have to play in these games, and especially they have an emphasis on having these star players play in away games.
Wow.
And they're also trying to get players to not rest 2 stars at once. To kind of stagger their rest.
So are they allowed to rest, or they just can't rest back-to-backs?
So there are a few situations where they can rest, and so like they can submit a plea to the NBA to say, hey, I think they need 2 weeks notice to say, oh, I'm gonna rest this part of a back-to-back.
Oh, I see.
And it has to be
Interesting.
And
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, so I guess if they violate this rule, the first offense is $100K that the team has to pay. The second offense is $250K.
Can they pay me that fine?
I don't know. It's the team's paying. It's not the players.
Oh.
So poor owners, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure the owners
And
are doing
on the
fine.
third offense and forward, it's $1 million per offense, which is kind of crazy. So I'm interested to see, like, is this our team's gonna actually stay in line with this rule, or are there gonna be lots of NBA fines this season?
Yeah.
So
I don't think owners want to pay that, so I bet they.
Yeah.
I bet they, for the most part, stick to it. I wonder who will be the first team.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, like, I love this rule, right?
Yeah. Well, the reason that they did it is because if I'm from, another country or from a state and that doesn't have an NBA team, and I drive because LeBron's coming into town.
Yeah.
And I drive 5 hours to go see LeBron, and he sits on that's a little. That's sad.
Yeah.
It's a little depressing. So, that's a big part of the rule, and I don't think owners will want to pay the fine. So I bet they act right, and actually listen to it. But speaking of stars, for our next news, Giannis announced that he had some interesting comments. The one was about he doesn't train with other current players.
Yeah, he doesn't train with other current players,
but he is training. He announced he's training with Hakeem Olajuwon. This summer. Hakeem, great player.
Yeah.
We'll get to more on him later, but should he be training with Hakeem?
I mean, I think so. I think we've seen, for example, like big players like Kobe and LeBron have gone to Hakeem because, I mean, you can argue that Hakeem has had the best footwork of any player to ever play in the NBA.
Yeah.
And so I feel like hopefully Giannis goes to Hakeem and, his post game and his footwork just increases exponentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But do you think he would fare better with maybe a past player who was a shooter?
Yeah, I mean, some people will argue that like maybe he should, work on his shot. But I guess, I mean, Giannis without a shot has been still probably, I mean, he's for sure a top 3 player in the NBA. You can debate where he's at, but he's for sure a top 3 player in the NBA. And so even without the shot, he's still great. So I think this footwork will just help him increase his game, which is, in the post.
Yeah. Well, but is that a pertinent style that is, pertinent to the game today? Is post play needed? I mean, we see Jokic, and he does, and Embiid both do work down there. But even then, Embiid's floating to the perimeter. Jokic handles the ball on the perimeter so much. We don't really see guys with post moves like Hakeem or, these past Tim Duncan. Mm-hmm. We don't have that kind of prototype in the NBA anymore. Yeah. So is this, the skill and talents that he's picking up from Hakeem, is it going to actually pertain to his game? Is it going to make a difference?
I think so. Maybe we're not going to see him like we would, in the 80s and 90s where you're going to see him on the low block.
Right.
But I think you might see him, floating out to like a high post or like getting a catch on the wing and backing down and, being able to work, from a post up from there.
Yeah.
Which I think is something that you see a lot in the NBA today.
Yeah.
Maybe just not as much work on, the low post as what we used to see in the past.
Well, you know me, I was down there banging with the best. So,
true.
Just kidding. No, I preferred to float as well. But no, I love some good post work, man.
Yeah.
Footwork is interesting, and a guy like Jokic today, who's in the NBA and really is one of the, in my opinion, the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
His footwork is what helps make him one of the best, and it's fun to watch him, especially in the post. I like that little move he does, the double full 360 pivot.
Okay, yeah.
While I don't know if you saw that one right to a right hook. Man, it's fun to watch. But kind of leads us. We talked about our NBA countdown. How long we got left?
We got 5 weeks left until the NBA season.
Yeah, from today, from the release.
Yeah, from the day we're gonna release this, it'll be 5 weeks exactly. Currently, five weeks and 3 days.
Oh, okay. Not that you're counting.
Not that I'm counting. I'm getting anxious, bro. I bought my season tickets to go see the Jazz, so I'm all in. I'm ready for it to start.
You know, I was gonna buy some season tickets, but looked at the price tag and would probably be sleeping on the couch.
Hey, bro, I live right there. Like I gotta buy it. I gotta buy it. So
you have to. It's part of the deal. But I would be sleeping on the couch with my wife for
yeah, she wouldn't like that.
Shout out to Hannah. We love her.
Hey, perks of not having a wife. I can spend my money irresponsibly.
That is true.
I can spend my money irresponsibly.
That is true. I gotta spend my money on
hey, better things.
Better things.
Things.
But with our countdown, 5 weeks. So
5 weeks.
Last week we had the number 6
Sacramento Kings.
Were our top 6 contender. This week our top 5 contender.
We talked about him.
We did.
It's our guy Giannis.
The Milwaukee Bucks. Yep. So give us a little breakdown, a little bit of the Bucks.
Yeah. So I mean, you got Giannis playing the 4.
Okay.
We saw Chris Middleton injured most of the season last season, which was obviously a huge blow for them. And then you have Drew Holiday at the 1. You got Grayson Allen at the 2, and you got Brook Lopez at the 5.
Yeah, they have a good little squad there. I mean, if you look at their efficiency, 58 and 24 last season, that's a good record. They were they the number 1 seed? Did they finish 1 or 2?
I think that they were the number 1 seed.
They were the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Got upset by the Heat, right? First round,
4-1.
4-1. Yeah, but that was kind of just an anomaly. Like, it was a weird series. It didn't feel like they were the higher seeded team throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Bucks last year, just a little more info, 116 points per game. Very fast pace. That 116 was, I think, top 3.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Behind the Kings.
Yeah, behind the Kings. They had a pretty good offensive rating. Their defensive rating was really, I think, top 5 too.
Yeah.
And their pace was pretty quick. Like you said, you got Giannis, Drew, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton also only played in 33 games last year.
Yeah.
So they re-signed him. So
yeah.
Him and Brook Lopez will be back, but hopefully he's healthy. He's a fun player to watch when he's healthy. Fourth quarter killer.
Yeah. So honestly, yeah, love the Bucks. They won in 2021. They beat the Suns. But I guess this is kind of a time that they've had struggles. They've really had, haven't had the best years in the past since then. Since they won, they haven't really been able to go back.
It's hard because
what we were expecting.
They have such a good regular season record.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of people were expecting them to contend last year.
Yeah. Which
I was too. Even with a 58 and 24 record, that is like phenomenal. So, you have Giannis averaging 31, 11.8 and 6. That is just 31, 12 and 6. And then, Drew's averaging 19 and 5 and 8. Yeah. These are a good supporting cast. Yeah. So, I think we expect them to be pretty good. Why did we choose them for our 5 spot?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with the Bucks. I mean, it's hard to bet against Giannis.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just 6'11", longest arms you've ever seen, dunking on everybody. And then I guess what people forget about is they're a really good defensive team. You have Drew Holiday locking up the best perimeter player. You have Brook Lopez in the paint, who's also an amazing defender.
Yeah. And
Giannis, who, defensive player of the year before that we've seen. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think that's what people forget is that they are a really, really good defensive team, and you kind of fall in love with the offense. Like you see Chris Middleton, Giannis, and Brook Lopez shooting the threes.
Yeah. But
they're really good defensively, which is what makes them a really good team that can really compete.
Yeah, and they'll have to pick it up a little bit defensively. They lost a couple guys this year. Joe Ingles, obviously not a huge defender.
No.
But Javon Carter, that dude gets after it.
He played at West Virginia, and he had that Bob Huggins full court press literally the entire game.
He's a bulldog, bro.
He's crazy.
He's locked in full court.
Yeah.
But they did add Malik Beasley, another shooter,
Yeah.
in place of Joe Ingles probably.
Yeah, he'll be a nice either off the bench, or I could see him starting at that 2 spot.
Yeah.
He shoots the ball really well.
Depends on what they want to do with like the Grayson Allen or
Yeah.
him. But regardless, he's the Grayson Allen kind of prototype as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like whichever one of those you want to plug in,
Yeah.
you have a shooter out there with Giannis.
Yeah.
Speaking of Grayson Allen, great player. He really has emerged since he got traded from the Jazz.
Yeah. And I think he's changed his number 3 times, but I think he told Bucks fans like this was the last time. He's sticking with Grayson Allen number 3, I guess.
Oh man, if you have a Grayson Allen jersey, I am sorry. You got like 5 different numbers.
What's Amex? Do they always replace replace your
Oh
jersey
yeah,
when the player
I
leaves?
saw that commercial. That's funny.
Poor
That's
Grayson
why I-
Allen fans.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
If you're a fan of tripping other people, that's tough.
Yeah, that is
That's
tough.
tough.
So yeah, Malik Beasley will be a good addition. They also drafted the UConn guard, Andre Jackson Jr.
Okay, yeah.
He was on that star team.
UConn looked good.
Yeah, the Hawkins kid, right, was first rounder this year.
Yeah.
Did he go to Orlando? I can't remember
No,
where he got.
I need to see him
Indiana?
play in the season, and
can't
then I'll
remember-
I'll be
I
able
can't
to
remember
put
where he
teams
went.
to.
He was the
teams to
one
names.
with the strap though.
Yeah.
That dude was nice. And then, but Andre Jackson Jr. was the point guard.
Mhm.
Doesn't have a great shot, but can pass the crap out of the ball.
Yeah.
Full on facilitator, good defender, tall, athletic. So we'll see if he makes the team for a second round pick. It was good value.
Yeah, and maybe he turns into a nice backup.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
But another Bucks change was the coach.
Yeah. You see, Mike Budenholzer, I guess he was like, obviously like Greg Popovich product, which we see
Yeah.
a lot around the league.
Everywhere.
And I mean, he's being replaced by Adrian Griffin, who was with the Raptors as an assistant.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, he started his coaching career with the Bucks in
Yeah.
08. After playing, I think he had 9 seasons in the league. But I guess, yeah, a little change. I guess we've seen Mike Budenholzer at the helm for a while in Milwaukee. So it'll be interesting to see a little change up, see how that goes.
He brought them their first championship, so I know they need to have, and they do have a lot of respect for that guy.
Yeah.
Because he helped get them that first one. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Giannis adapts to a new coaching change.
Yeah.
He said some interesting comments the other day. I don't know if you heard them.
Yeah.
About he's gonna go where the winning is. So hopefully, Adrian Griffin can help keep it around.
That's a lot of pressure as a head coach
That
coming
is.
in, and
That
your star
is.
player saying, if we're not winning, if we're like not a winning team, I'm gone.
Yeah, their repertoire has been good though. Their rap sheet over the past couple of years, their record's been good. So hopefully he can keep it going. They kept a lot of the key pieces like we talked about.
Yeah.
So at number 5, the Bucks is our top 5 contender.
We'll see how they do. We'll see. But
But for our next segment, as if you've listened, you already know what it is. Shout out to our random news segment.
yeah. So in random news, I mean, we talked a little bit about Mike Budenholzer, Spurs product.
There was a couple options for us to go this week on.
Yeah,
random
but
news.
we decided to go with more speculation than actual news. But we'll
Okay.
go with, Twitter. X. Sorry, X. We
Shoot
saw
out an
LaMarcus
X.
Aldridge respond to a tweet asking him to come to the Spurs and coach and become a player training type coach for Victor Wembanyama while he's there, which is something that we've seen with the Spurs. Greg Popovich has brought back Tim Duncan. He's brought back Manu Ginobili. And these players have kind of acted as assistant coaches or like player development coaches that it seems like they've had lots of success in San Antonio developing players.
Are we going to just overlook the fact that LaMarcus Aldridge was one of the best big men over the last decade and a half? Like, that dude was legit.
People forget about it. He played with, I think, smaller market teams. Like, he was playing on Portland. And, I mean, San Antonio's not tiny, but, like,
the dude was a bucket.
He was on that team that won 67 games with Kawhi after the Big Three era was, done. People forget that the Spurs were actually good for a while.
He fizzled out weird with his whole, medical issue and retirement, and then came back, but then retired. But, I mean, to train Victor.
What would you like to see that? Like, do their games compare in any way?
I mean, LaMarcus was really one of those prototype bigs that started shooting as well.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, when I remember watching him, I did like watching LaMarcus a lot when I was a kid. Just with I feel like maybe not as much as three balls, but I feel like he shot long twos, the mid range and the high post. And I mean, he shot the three ball too, but no, for Victor, come on, man. One of the better or top 5 power forwards of the last
20 years.
20 years, yeah, of course. It can never hurt, especially someone who's been in the program and played for Pop. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird to think that Pop's going to be done coaching because he may go down as the best coach ever, but
Yeah.
it's got to end sometime.
Or, I mean, if you're on the Gilbert Arenas podcast, they were saying, Rashad McCants was saying Greg Popovich isn't a good coach at all, which I think is blasphemy, I think, if you're an NBA fan.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear that.
We could talk about the Gilbert Arenas podcast. I said some out-of-pocket things this past week. But, yeah, I don't think that's true. I think that almost every player in the league respects Greg Popovich.
Yeah. So I think if you add a player development type player like LaMarcus Aldridge, I think that would be a good thing for the Spurs, and especially for Victor. I think he could gain a little post game, little face up, that mid range game. So maybe they're not, it's hard to compare Victor to anybody, but like maybe you could kind of adopt a little bit of what a LaMarcus Aldridge was able to do in the NBA.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it comes to fruition. You never know from Twitter or X or whatever it's called if people just say whatever. So.
No, they do.
But it would be cool to see, 100%.
Yeah. So stay tuned, I guess, if you're a Spurs fan, Victor Wembanyama fan.
Hopefully.
We'll see if LaMarcus Aldridge is the one kind of behind the scenes training him, helping him to become that great player that everyone expects him to be.
Yeah. I saw some really crazy – I don't want to get into it, but someone had posted that they top – or as Bleacher Report posted – this is just going to be a thrown in rando segment also. Bleacher Report posted their top players under the age of 22 and under, or 23 and under.
Okay, yeah.
And who was their number one? Victor.
Really?
Over Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I just hope that they're right, Like, it's just really hard to, like, say that
they're putting that already, though?
Yeah, it's hard to say that someone's, like, already that good. Like, they expect way too much. Like, let the man grow into, like, being a good player.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Like, I think lots of players like LeBron, like, they didn't let him, like, grow into the player that he is. They just expected him to be the best.
Yeah.
And, like, he's, lived up to that expectation. But that's hard to put on someone who's, how old is Victor? 19 years old? Yeah. Like, that's tough. That's tough. So,
and just saying that he's already better than Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, I mean, they must have not watched FIBA.
That's what I'm saying. So
Anthony, he's nice. Ant's nice with it.
That was a random segment from Trevor right there.
Yeah, a random news segment in our random news segment of the week.
But moving on to our final and most anticipated segment.
The Dish and Swish draft.
All right.
We've been mixing it up a little bit.
We have.
We went snake draft, me and you. We went just the best, I guess, in a list. But I think this week we're gonna stick with Trost because Trost was a big man. He's nice with it. I mean, maybe we'll post some of the highlights so people know that he was nice.
Respect the name, man.
Yeah, respect the name Trevor Trost. He was nice with it.
Cooking in the post.
Yeah, we also got Gary Trost. The pops.
He's the one who developed the post game.
Developed Trevor Trost into the post player that he was. So we've talked a lot about bigs. We talked about Giannis playing with Hakeem, and so we're gonna go top 5 big men of all time. So let's start at number 1 and just work our way down. It's a tough list.
So are we doing big men or centers?
So we'll do centers.
Okay.
We'll do centers.
There are some great. Because
there are also there's we got Timmy D. You got Dirk.
Yeah, you got some dudes.
Yeah. So let's start at the top. So Trevor Trost, number 1 big man of all time, and why?
I think it's easily the number 1's easy for me.
Okay.
It's after this that gets really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Kareem undoubtedly put himself as number 1. I want to say someone like Shaq, but when you look at the accolades that Kareem has, he's easily number 1. He's second in scoring all time behind LeBron. I mean, we could pull up his stats. I think we have a little stat sheet somewhere. Let me see here. 6 NBA titles, 2 Finals MVPs, 6 MVPs, 10 all first team selections, 19-time All-Star. 19 times.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's just second in
Only
scoring,
Kobe?
third in rebounds, and third in blocks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kareem is number 1 for me. So that's
Okay.
easy. There's Kareem.
All right, number 2.
Got to go Shaq. Shaq may not have the accolades that some of these other centers have. Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Hakeem, but his dominance I think outweighs his. I mean, he had some great accolades too. 4 NBA titles, 3 Finals MVPs, 1 MVP, 8 first team All Selections, All NBA selections, 8th in scoring and blocks, 15th in rebounds. But I mean, some of these guys might have better.
He passes the eye test.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You watch him play and he's.
We need to, in a few weeks, I'm going to get Gary on the pod.
Okay.
Gary played against this guy at LSU.
Bring him on the pod.
He, against BYU, had the record, NCAA tournament record, triple-double in the first round of NCAA tournament record in blocks. Triple-double with blocks. He had like 14 or 15. Maybe it was like 12 or 13. It was in the teens.
So it was a tough night for Gary.
Yeah, he fouled out. There's some funny videos. There's kind of a weak one my dad showed us a couple weeks ago, getting off topic, but my dad got an offensive foul call on him, and he said, how many people do you know that, offensive fouled, like charged Shaq? Not many, but anyway, dude's an absolute unit. When he played at Orlando, beast, LA unit. When he went to Miami, great.
Yeah.
So shout out to Shaq.
Yeah, dude. I was at the 2006 NBA Finals when I was just a little kid, and I remember watching Shaq play with D Wade, and I was in Dallas. I lived in Dallas when I was a kid, and it was a sad day for me as a Mavericks fan because Shaq and D Wade, that's a tough combo to guard.
Yeah, 100%.
And that wasn't even his prime.
No.
That wasn't even his prime,
No.
and he was nice.
No, he's the most dominant big man ever. But yeah, second for me on my list. Third,
Yeah.
that's where it gets a little dicey. I want to say Bill Russell. Shout out to the late, great Bill Russell, man. All the NBA players who knew him have talked about him, how kind and how good of a guy he was. 11 NBA titles.
That's just ridiculous. Like, no one else is gonna do that.
No. 11?
No one else is gonna do that. That's
5
crazy.
MVPs, 12 All-Stars. He's second in rebounds of all time. 5 MVPs and 11. Yeah, shout out to the late great Bill Russell. So he's third on my list.
Yeah.
For just the accolades alone.
Yeah.
He barely beat out. Oh man, the other two are just so tough. It's hard because I want to just have them both together because Wilt. Everyone thinks of Wilt, the 100 game, right?
Yeah.
But who was he? Everyone says he was playing against plumbers and.
But I mean, you watch some of that, blurry footage. you can see he's like jumping like I don't even know. He's touching like the top of the backboard.
Yeah.
He was just like an athletic freak.
Yeah, so I'd probably go Wilt. His accolades: 2 NBA titles, 1 Finals MVP, 4 MVPs. He's first in rebounds, 7th in scoring all time.
I mean, Otto Porter's dad, right?
And then lastly, it was hard because Hakeem or Moses Malone. Moses Malone, shout out Moses Malone, great center. But gonna go Hakeem here. 2 NBA titles, 2 Finals MVP, 1 MVP, first in blocks, 9th in steals. For a big man, 9th in steals. 12th in points all time, 14th in rebounds all time.
And I mean, look at all the players he's trained. You can add that to his resume
True,
as well.
like we talked about. But that gets me on a different tangent. Where?
Mm-hmm.
So those are my top 5. We'll make a little video about it too. But where do you put a guy like Nikola Jokic in? Where do you? I mean, I have him as an honorable mention right now. But to me, I think he's already solidified himself an argument for being with those group of guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to put him with those guys, especially because he's still playing.
Right.
But, I mean, on the track that he's on right now, add a few more rings to that resume or add another MVP, add a few more All-NBA selections. Like, I mean, it's hard to. He's probably out of all those players, he's for sure the best passer.
Yeah.
I mean, the man passes like I've never seen before.
He's the best passing big man ever. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've ever seen a player, any of those big men either, do what he does with the ball.
No.
Well, I have never seen until Jokic, I had never seen a point guard get a rebound like a Jamal Murray and outlet the ball. I wish you had done that to me in high school, man. I was always outletting to you, man.
My bad.
Gosh, dang it. I was always outletting to you, but I had never seen that.
Yeah. You just outletting to their five to run the break.
What?
Yeah. Which is impressive.
No, I love. He's my favorite player to watch right now.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
And it's hard to compare him because he's just not as athletic as those other 5-6 names that you list.
Yeah.
Like he's like completely different. Like he doesn't play above the rim. Like you don't really see Nikola Jokic dunk on people or like dunk it very often. But those other guys are like jumping out the gym, like blocking stuff, dunking on people. Like it's just very different.
It is, because when you look at like where he ranks with, if he has hopefully he has a long career, he'll be above those guys in assists and all these things because he just passes the ball so well.
Yeah.
He will not be above them in blocks.
Definitely not rings.
But, well,
shout out to Bill Russell.
Bill Russell, yeah. You never know. Maybe he rattles off 10 more in a row.
Hey.
But I don't know. I just think he's such an interesting player. He's my favorite player to watch. This guy really just is like, he's a phenomenal, and basketball is his love. He just does it because it's his job.
He's like, this is 9 to 5. He wants to get home to watch horses.
He's trying to get back to Serbia with his family.
He's like, I don't even want to go to the NBA parade, the NBA Finals, the championship parade. He didn't even want to go.
Yeah. So, I think there's easily an argument to be made. I think in 10 years or 15 years, whenever Jokic retires, he'll put himself in that situation.
Yeah.
Hopefully he adds some more things to his resume by then. I don't doubt it.
I mean, you could argue he has one of the most unstoppable moves. You see the somber shuffle or whatever?
The somber shuffle, man.
That's impossible to, like, you saw him hit the 3 over AD. Like, some of those shots are just ridiculous.
It's, yeah. What is he, 7 foot? He's a 7-footer?
7-footer, just 6'11".
He doesn't. What's crazy is he doesn't look athletic, and he's not. And I wouldn't say he's athletic, but Mike Malone, their head coach, said he's in the best shape on the team. Like,
that's crazy.
They said he could play all 48 minutes and another overtime and another overtime and another overtime and still not be tired. But if you looked at him, you'd be like, oh, okay.
It looks like he can barely make it up and down the floor.
Apparently he just doesn't get tired.
He's like one of those horses that he got.
No, I read a thing actually that he said the last time he drank Coca-Cola, he used to love Coca-Cola. This is another random news segment.
Yeah.
I read it this week actually. That Jokic used to love Coca-Cola, and then he went through his first NBA workout with the Nuggets after coming over from Europe. Yeah. Never drank a Coke again.
That's impressive. Good for him.
I don't know if that's true or not, like the whole thing, but that's just what it was on Bleacher Report or ESPN or something. And yeah, good for him. And I mean, it doesn't look like he's drank a Coke for a while with how good he's playing.
He is.
He has not missed a beat. So shout out to Jokic. He's definitely going to be up there. Going to be a Hall of Famer. Has he already solidified himself as a Hall of Famer?
I think so. I think he's for sure a Hall of Famer.
Is he in that top NBA 75 already? Do you think he belongs in that top 75?
I think it's tough. He's borderline. I think you could probably put him in there.
Yeah.
You could probably put him in there.
He should have had a third MVP this year. So
yeah.
2 MVPs, I think, kind of just...
No disrespect to Joel Embiid. He's very nice. But, like, I think, you could argue, some of those Kendrick Perkins comments,
I think throwing the voter fatigue or whatever they call it. But, yeah, I think 2 MVPs in a final, after they won the finals, I think that just pushed him into the... But... Great player, and we'll see.
We'll see where his career takes him,
and we'll see where the Nuggets are on our
top 5.
Top 5 contenders. We'll see where we rank them. So,
all right.
Yeah, we
were able to see top 5. Bucks are top 5 contender. We were able to see Trevor's top 5 bigs this week. And this is the Dish and Swish podcast. I'm Amadeus Peterson here with Trevor Trost, and we hope to see you again next week.
Yeah, tune in for all our giveaways. like, subscribe on YouTube. Shout out, we got the YouTube up and running too. So give us a follow, subscribe on there. Thanks for listening, guys. And like I said, this is Dish and Swish.
Have a good week.